Good morning, Turkey, and welcome to our Gramatica presentation today. My name is Greg Byrne, the creator and managing director of Gramatica, and I hope today that you will learn something new about teaching and learning English in your school, something that will benefit your school greatly. So this is about the person who built Gramatica, which is me. So let me show you a little bit about my history and how I came to build Gramatica. First of all, I'm a TESOL teacher and have been for quite a few years. I've taught all levels, including elementary to advanced, IELTS, Cambridge, FCE, and also a little bit of PTE. And these are some of the pictures of me with students and classes. And several of these students, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner that my wife and I went to Jay-Z's wedding. And the picture above is when I met Jay-Z just recently, and we recognized each other and had a long chat as well. I'm also a curriculum creator, and I have created several curriculum for both university and colleges, and one of these was approved by the Australian federal government. I'm an author, and this is my book 9 Planets, which was published 8 years ago with Dragonwell. It's a supernatural thriller. I've also done 3 degrees and a diploma, and also a CELTA. And that's me at the University of Western Australia, graduating with my Master of Medieval and Early Modern Studies. I'm a university teacher in both the Bachelor of Education and Master of Education courses, and that's current. I'm also a conference speaker, and here's 2 pictures of me, both in the Philippines and New Orleans, where I have presented Gramatica at conferences. I'm a traveller. I really enjoy travelling. I haven't yet been to Turkey, but I have been to many other places, as you can see on the list. I train teachers, both Gramatica teachers and also elementary and secondary teachers. I'm a family man. I have been married for 34 years, and my daughter is also a teacher. My other daughter is a psychologist, and my son is a research scientist. And I am the Gramatica creator. And my job in Gramatica is to empower students all over the world to become strong, knowledgeable, creative, decisive makers of their own English stories. And I trust I will be able to help your students and your teachers as well. Now, these are the principles that Gramatica was built on. Firstly, its history. It's not new. Gramatica is the result of almost 2 decades of thinking, research, trial and error, conferences, and classroom testing. It has been well tested. It's also a new way of thinking, a new, innovative, powerful, and completely different lens on English teaching and learning. So if you are looking in your school for something that is different and something that will set you apart from other schools, Gramatica might be for you. It's also very well tested. So it has been used with thousands of students of all ages, from 5 to 70, from 60 countries and all ability levels, and it works for everyone. And this picture is a girl of 5 years old who was using Gramatica in her preschool in a school in Perth, Western Australia. And I took this picture of her using her Gramatica card to help her to write her own stories. Gramatica is based on research, both modern research into neuroscience, learning, memory, assessment, and also ancient wisdom and just good common sense. Gramatica is unique. There is nothing like Gramatica in the world today. And our mission in Gramatica is to empower students as strong, knowledgeable, creative, correct makers of English forever. Now, this is my mission. Number 1, to empower Turkish students to become strong, knowledgeable, creative, decisive makers of their own English stories, not to memorize lists of verbs and rules from course books, but to be creative makers of their own English stories. And also to empower Turkish teachers to become strong, knowledgeable, creative, and enthusiastic teachers of English. To delight Turkish students and teachers when they realize that English is much simpler than they have thought for many, many years, and to show Turkish students and teachers how to use the simple structures and patterns of English in their daily lives. Now you might think, what is in Gramatica? Well, it's first of all an online library, and this library contains ready-to-use video PowerPoint lessons, very similar to the PowerPoint that you're watching right now. And these lessons are easy to use, very, very visual, simple to follow, powerful, relevant for your students, and fun. And each one contains a vocabulary or grammar point, as well as all of the macro skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. It includes teacher training. So when you become a Gramatica school, we train your teachers thoroughly in all of the English language content through the Gramatica lens, of course, the teaching techniques, classroom delivery, skills, and also assessment. We make sure that the curriculum that you use, the American or the British curriculum, and we align Gramatica to that curriculum. So we make sure that your school curriculum and the Gramatica curriculum are both hand in hand. And it's a complete system. So it contains the lessons, the learning materials, the assessment devices, and even a question and answer forum for your teachers and students. So if your teachers and students have a question, they can go online to this forum. It's like Facebook for Gramatica, and ask a question and somebody will answer. So how do you become a Gramatica school? You purchase a license. So the license is an annual license. Now, we offer this license to approved schools, colleges, companies, or government departments. It's a partnership. So when your school becomes a Gramatica school, you enter a long-term relationship to promote the Gramatica mission that we spoke about earlier. And you also receive everything in the Gramatica system. So everything that is in my mind now becomes available to you, your teachers, and your students. It's exclusive. Now, we only offer a fixed number of licenses for a city, province, or country. This means that you may get a license and your competitor's school in the same city does not. And that means that you can say, we have a Gramatica license and our competitor doesn't. Therefore, please come to us. You get free updates. So when we release new lessons or new learning materials or assessment tools or devices, you get access to those immediately. We provide regular support for your teachers via Zoom conferences or webinars. And also the most important thing is we provide a rebate to your school. And that is quite a substantial rebate of 10,000 Australian dollars, about 95 or 96,000 Turkish lira. So how does the price work? Let me explain it to you very carefully. First of all, that is the total price for a Gramatica license. And before you say that's very expensive and we can't afford that, you don't. Your school does not pay this. Your students do, or your students' families. And they pay it in a very special way that makes it very, very affordable. So we take the overall license price in Australian dollars, and let's say that you have 300 students in your school. So we divide 35,000 by 300 and then the number of weeks in the year. And it works out to $2.24, which is about 21 Turkish lira per student per week. And that is the same as a price of a cappuccino in Istanbul. So these are the prices per student for schools of different populations, and the prices were correct as of the 7th of February 2022. So if you have more than 300 students, it's less than 21 Turkish lira. If you have 300, we've already said that, and you can see that the Istanbul prices on the right-hand side. So the most that your students will pay will be about 4 bananas a week. Now, how does Gramatica work? Well, these are the learning principles. Firstly, we say to students, we want you to be active makers of English. So we want you to think, what new skill do I want to learn? That's the first thing. Number two, what tools do I need to make this skill or to do this skill? Number three, you practice a lot. And number four, you tell your own story. So you use these skills to tell your own story and to say something that is important or relevant to you as a student. Now let's look at some examples from daily life. First of all, I need to learn a skill for my life. I need to know how to keep my teeth clean. So that's my first skill that we're using from the previous screen. I get the tools that I need, okay, a toothbrush and some toothpaste. Number three, I learn how to use the tools. I watch someone else do it. I might watch my parents brush their teeth and I think, okay, that's how you do it. So then I practice step 4 with the tools and I use them in daily life and I brush my teeth every day. Now, if I apply this to Gramatica, I need to know how to tell a past story, as we all do. So the tool that I need is the past simple. So then I use step 3, I learn how to use the English tools. So I do a Gramatica course on telling a past simple story. And then I practice with the tools and I use them in daily life and I tell my stories about my life and the world. Now, one of the principles that's very important that we use a lot is Bloom's taxonomy of learning, and you can research this later if you like. And it has several levels, about 6 different levels. And the bottom level is remember and the top level is create. And quite a few students think that learning is the same as remembering. And this is called low-level thinking. We can all remember something. We may not understand it, but we certainly remember it. Gramatica does not use this as its only way of learning. Instead, we use high-level thinking of create. And this is very important in Gramatica. So let's look at a difference between traditional schools and Gramatica schools. You can read all of these in your own time, but I want you to have a careful look at comparing these traditional elements with Gramatica here. So we know that English is quite simple. We don't think it's difficult. We know that it's not a subject, it's a set of communication tools. We explain the principles and structures with simple words and life concepts and ideas. We use clear, colourful pictures and diagrams. We focus on students' life needs. We teach students how to think. We empower students. We teach them how to create their own stories. We use their stories, not coursebook stories, and we produce able, strong creators of English. So what are the teacher benefits? Number 1, we provide a common teaching language and style. So we make sure that all of your teachers have the same knowledge, the same classroom skills, and they all speak the same teaching language. We provide full training for them. So 1 month of training for all of your teachers before they start with the Gramatica program in everything they need to know. We also provide assessment tools for them. So it's not just the lessons, but after the lessons have finished, we then provide the assessment tools, remembering that Gramatica assessment is based on what a student can create, not what a student can memorize. Now, what are the benefits for students? Firstly, Gramatica is for everybody. So all ages and all levels, from the youngest student to the oldest student. It works for everybody. Now, students receive a learning map, and I'll show this to you very soon, and they use this to record progress. Number 2, they use a very simple grammar language, so we don't use difficult terms or concepts. We use very life-relevant terms and concepts, and everything is color-coded and easy to understand. Students can trust Gramatica because we never change the words or the colors. Everything is always the same. Everything is consistent throughout. Students also are active makers in a Gramatica lesson. We promote active learning because when students are active, they remember better. And also because the lessons are online, if a student is sick or absent, the student can come back and do the lesson again as many times as they need. Now this is the learning map. This is only one page and there are 10 pages, and each lesson is shown here with the dates. So the student can do this up to 5 different times and also add their own comments. And we make this learning map available for teachers. So the teachers can see what the students are doing and the students can see what the teacher has commented on. So it's a transparent learning conversation between teachers and students. Now let's continue our student benefits. Next one. Students learn that English is not a set of words and rules to be memorized, but a set of tools to be used in daily life. They learn how to make their own sentences and stories. They learn English in the same way that they learn life. They learn that their own stories are the most important and relevant and therefore the easiest to remember. They enjoy their English much more because it becomes an exciting challenge instead of a list of things to be memorized. And they become world ready. So if they want to travel out of Turkey to an English-speaking country, to go to university, to get a different job, to travel and enjoy the world, then they can use the English that they learned at your school and become world citizens. Now these are the benefits for your school. First of all, you have a competitive advantage. And this means that because we only offer Gramatica licenses to select schools, you can use that in your marketing to say, we are a Gramatica school and we have something that other schools do not have. Now, your own school culture is something that you have built up over time. We cannot change that, but we can certainly make it stronger. We train your teachers, which is something that other schools may not do or other programs may not do, but we train your teachers for 1 month before they start using the Gramatica system. And you also join a worldwide community that's growing all the time of different schools around the world, and you get free access to all Gramatica webinars and conferences, both face-to-face and online. Now, Gramatica has been used in schools in Australia, Thailand, and the USA, and these are comments from primary principals and deputy principals, and you can read these in your own time. And these are comments from primary and middle school classroom teachers, and again, you can read these in your own time. And these are comments from students, and all of these students are all students that I have taught personally, and they are all adults. And again, you can read these in your own time. Now this is the Gramatica team. First of all is me, and you can see my email address there. And this is James, who joined us recently, and you can see his contact details there as well. So what are the next steps? First of all, I strongly recommend that you learn more about Gramatica, and you can do it with those websites there. Secondly, if you need to make contact and have a Zoom meeting with either James or me, then please feel free to do that, and we can just have a chat about your school needs and your plans and your dreams for your school. You can also choose to have a sample lesson. So here we have a sample Zoom lesson with 10 of your students for about 15 minutes. It's free, and we can discuss what you think about the Gramatica program based on that lesson. And number 4, you can become a Gramatica school. So when you're ready to do this, ask James for the application form and he will send it to you. And thank you for watching. and I trust that you have learned something new about Gramatica and the benefits that it can offer your school, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.